Good day, ladies and gentlemen, this is Advanced Logic, and welcome to my Let's Play of Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance. For those not in the know, and honestly I don't know how you do not know, I'm just thinking this out loud, but this is pretty much a remake of the first Metroid that came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Only it's a hell of a lot better, and trust me, I know from experience. But anyway, let's just get this started. God damn, does that never get old, honestly. Anyway, this is Metroid Zero Mission, and as I mentioned right now, this is practically a remake of the original Metroid for the NES. Only it's a hell of a lot better because it controls not like ass. And trust me, I've played the original Metroid, because I think you unlock the original Metroid for this when you've beaten the game. Only I kind of spoiled that just now, but screw it, please ignore that if you didn't want that spoiled. But anyway, this is a remake of the original Metroid for the NES, and you guys are seeing that right there. I'm spoiling it because I don't want to forget it. But this is a lot more linear than the original one is, and it's a lot more beautiful too. Controls a lot better too. But that's just me. Like, I'm pretty sure there's people that think the original Metroid isn't that bad. But I hear a lot of people say that if you're coming from Super Metroid, well, you're gonna have a hell of a hard time trying to cope with everything the way everything is. Or at least from what I've heard, anyway. Anyway, I'm doing this as a Let's Play because this is the first Metroid game I ever played. So yeah, it's a bit of a big thing for me, because for those that have never seen my previous Let's Play, I have done Metroid Other M in the past. I mean, like a long time ago, so yeah. It's kind of saying a lot when it's just like, I'm going from what's considered the worst game in the series to what I'm playing right now. Which is pretty much a remake of the original, and I want to say this is probably one of the better Metroid games, but then again I hear a lot of people saying that Super Metroid is pretty damn good too. But, in all honesty, I've only played a little bit of Super Metroid, so I can not really say for sure. Anyway, as you guys are seeing right now we can actually shoot from the freaking distance. So yeah, just like in the original Metroid, you had like very limited range until you get the long beam. So now we could shoot from a far away distance, and we don't have to be so fucking close to shoot enemies. I mean, look at this. Practically it goes all the way across the screen now. I don't know. It's a little ominous. And now we're locked into this whole area. So anyway, whenever you see the doors go gray, that pretty much means you're locked until you do a certain thing. And by a certain thing, kill the crap out of this. And there we go. Oh, that's pretty easy. Anyway, the way this is way more linear than the previous, than the game it was based on, or remade from, is that they have these Chozo statues that guide you to where you gotta go next. Or at the very least, lighten up a beacon to show you where you gotta go next. Not to mention, these Chozo statues, and including the ones that give you items, they will actually recover your health and items. So yeah, it's a lot more, what's the word, accessible compared to the first game. And that's saying something, I don't know. The first game was very inaccessible because that one, like, you only started out with like 30 health. So you had to like grind your way back up to full health from the start of the game. So yeah, it's Anyway, you're seeing this door is red right there. So yeah, I can't really do much about that. Or at least with what we have right now, we can't do much about that. But yeah, this is the first Metroid game I played, and I don't know, I really enjoyed the crap out of this. In fact, I kind of want to go into detail on how I first got in contact with this game. Also, if you guys are seeing slowdown, I apologize. It's because that's just the emulator doing its thing. So I've tried doing the best I could to fix it, but I cannot fix it at all. It's because like there's a lot of enemies in that area, so it kind of like slows down as a result. Unless I kill every enemy, but then again, that's just wasting more time than it really has to. Then again, you're going to be seeing more slowdown right here when this guy shows his ugly mug. So anyway, this guy just pops up out of fucking nowhere. This is exclusive to this version of the game. This was not in the original Metroid, and he'll actually shoot out these spikes, and if you run out of missiles, then you could just replenish them like this. Maybe even replenish some health if you need it. And he's going to start chasing after you right that, and you just gotta... There you go. Honestly, it's a little easier just because it's just like a little bit of slowdown when you're fighting him. But upon beating him, you actually get a charge beam, which is added on to this game. I mean, sure, it's been in other Metroid games in the past, but since this is a remake of Metroid, the charge beam was not in the original Metroid, so yeah. But anyway, I think what I was trying to talk about right now is like how inaccessible the original Metroid was, because, or at least if you played other games that came after it and then tried playing the original just because you wanted to see what the game that started it all was about, then yeah, you're kind of gonna have a hard time with everything. Or at least I did anyway, because honestly, after I finally beat this game, and then when I unlocked the original Metroid and I tried beating it, God, I could not even get past... I couldn't even get the long beam, it was just so terrible. Well, I'm not saying the game itself is terrible, I mean, it is a good game, but it's a hell of a lot inaccessible than the later games in the series. And I'm kind of glad that they did this as a remake, because, my god, it controls beautifully. And for those not in the know, this is pretty much like the same kind of control scheme that you would see in Metroid Fusion. It's pretty much the way Metroid Fusion controls, but this time you're playing the game that started it all. Remade and remastered for said controls. And man, is it awesome. Anyway, just gotta be shooting these things, and I'm just gonna try to destroy... There we go, that's better. But trying to use my freaking beams in conjunction with the fucking majiggers and the whatnot. And these freaking bugs just keep popping up out of nowhere. Yeah, look at that. So anyway, anytime you collect a missile tank, of course, your capacity is going to increase the crap out of itself. Hey, look at this, the one thing that I showed off earlier, and of course it's an energy tank, and now I have extra health. I really want to collect every single one of them. But in all honesty, I'm not even going to try to 100% this game, because I know how notoriously difficult it is to 100% this game. Especially a certain upgrade you can get late toward the end of the game. For those who know what I'm talking about, yes, it's that one. My god, no! I am not even going to try to get it. Nope, nope, nope. Therefore, I am not even going to try to 100% this game. I mean, sure, I'm going to go for upgrades that are like that aren't so off the beaten path. But as far as actually getting 100% goes, that's never going to happen with this. I mean, I did it with Other End because at least there it wasn't unbelievably difficult to 100% the damn game. Not to mention, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot easier to 100% that game considering the lack of upgrades. This game has a shit ton of them. Anyway, now we just got the bombs, and here's what I was talking about right here. If you just sit in here, then you will recover any lost health, and missiles and all that other whatnot. Anyway, bombs are practically unlimited, but as far as I know, you can only set 5 at a time. Or 4 at a time, excuse me. Anyway, and here's where you could introduce yourself to bomb jumping. So you just gotta lay a bomb and let it bounce you up. So yeah, keep that in mind, or at least not for too long, because eventually stuff happens. And yeah, there's a little bit of slowdown right here, because there's a shit ton of these little bugs all over the place right here. And once we let that go, and we're just gonna kill them all. Especially if so many of them latch onto you at once, then you start losing health. Thankfully not too much, but still. It's a little bit of an annoyance, and I think they even slow you down. I think there's been an enemy or two that's done that in other Nintendo games. I think I'm trying to... Oh yeah, I remember like in Wind Waker, it's like those little spike things that latched onto you and they slowed you down. And the only way to get rid of them was like through a spin attack. And I'm only remembering that because I've already played Wind Waker HD recently. Oh, wait. I see something down there. This isn't too off the beaten path. As either way, it's a map room, and it'll actually give us a more detailed view of Brinstar. It actually shows there's a freaking, what's those called? Elevators. There's an elevator that's leading to a place called Norfair. Also, I apologize if I'm kind of butchering the naming of these areas, because I've never really heard them get announced. Anyway, crap. Once you get the long beam, it does mention that if you hold L, you can shoot diagonally. And yeah, you could do it both ways, too. Both ways. So yeah, it's a godsend to be able to shoot in multiple directions, because my god, is it amazing. Oh god. And there's these freaking enemies. I forgot their official names, because honestly, I don't know any... Actually, I kind of forgot the enemies' names in Other M, too. Especially... Jeez, what were those, like, enemies in post-game? I can't remember their names. Even though I remembered them like crap in Other N, when I was actually facing them. You know, the ones that you could only defeat with, like, a... Or the ones that you activate with a power bomb. That's what I was thinking. There we go. So now we have a general idea where to go next. So I think it says we gotta be going down into Norfair, and if we press select, it'll actually show us where Norfair is, or at the very least it shows us where exactly in Norfair. So you just press select, you can change between areas, and I'm just making sure. Just making sure. Because honestly, I remember playing the crap out of the beginning of this game, just because, like, all the way up to Kraid. And yes, I'm spoiling it right now. Honestly, this game is not story heavy, but it doesn't have to be. Metroid has never been story heavy, and that's where Other M fucked up in that aspect. But yeah, of course, like, after Kraid, I'm kinda gonna be going at this, like, pretty blindly, because right now this is more muscle memory than anything else, because I'm just like, oh yeah, and I just gotta do this, gotta go here. But, like, this is one of the more non-linear but linear games in the Metroid series. I don't know, I want to mention something without, like, without quoting Some Call Me Johnny, like, exactly. But I kind of can't, so I'm just going to say it right now. It pretty much takes Super Metroid's non-linearity and Metroid Fusion's linearity and just combines them together to make one awesome remake of the original series, of the original game itself. And man, it is just awesome. Plus, there's like a lot of items here that are like very difficult to get on your own. Or at the very least without a freaking guide. Even then. Like, even without the need of a guide, it's still like pretty cryptic. Like, if you want to go through the game, if you want to go for 100%, then it's going to be like really difficult in order to like find every single upgrade. Quite the bitch and a half. But anyway, I'm kind of going this way out of the beaten path because I know there's an item at the end of this, though I know we can't really make any further progress down this path. But we will be doing it later, so yeah, there's that. There we go, and I believe here it is. All that for a missile tank. We are going to be coming back to this later on. I just wanted to get that missile tank now because it tempts me so. Also, I should probably mention this right now. If you didn't beat that one boss that gave you the charge beam, like on the first encounter, you would encounter it later on. Actually, I think you're pretty much forced to encounter it until you finally get the charge beam. Then again, I can't really say for sure. I haven't played this game in years. So yeah, the way I got introduced to this story, or to this game, I mean, not the story. It doesn't even have a story. Just the basic, let's kill the fuck out of Mother Brain. But anyway, the way I got introduced to this game, I was actually at a Best Buy when I first heard about this game, and like the way they actually had the game on full display at the Best Buy. So I played it on their Game Boy Advance kiosk, and man, I just got hooked. I'm like, my god, this is amazing. And then and there, that's when I got Metroid Zero Mission. And honestly, I did not regret the purchase at all. Though it did frustrate me, I couldn't 100% it, at least without a guide, so... I tried doing it without a guide, but even with the guide, it was kind of like really freaking hard to get some of the items. Anyway, if you go right here, you needed the bombs in order to get to here, so now we can gain access to Norfair. Oh, crap. God damn it. And all these freaking enemies. And yes, let's just make our way to Norfair.